Hello, everybody. I'm Chicago psychic Mel Dorr, an intuitive consultant. I'm really happy because today I'm talking with my very special friend, Nancy Regan. Nancy is an intuitive energy healing practitioner. She's got wonderful balancing energy. She was a student of mine for intuitive development, and she's a talented intuitive in her own right. And Nancy, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you so much, Mel, for having me on. We go way back.
I gotta tell them a story. About 8 years ago, I had open heart surgery, and when I got home from the hospital, I kept going into AFib, and so my AFib converted back to normal cardiac rhythm. And when my doctor asked me what I did, I said, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." And he said, "Well, try me." So I called Nancy and I said, "I keep going in and out of AFib." And she goes, "I will give you a session." And she came over, and after one session, I converted back to normal cardiac rhythm.
Calmed you down.
So when I told my doctor that story, he said, "You're right. I probably don't believe it, but hey, it worked." So,
Doesn't matter.
yay. I've known Nancy for quite a few years. She's taken my intuitive development classes. We've
Yeah.
done some message circles together. And so lots of
Lots of
fun.
things. Yeah.
All right, Nancy,
Yes, Mel.
why would anyone seek out an energy healing session?
Well, the people, the people I work
Oh.
with, yeah, are often having issues with anxiety or trauma or stress. I get a lot of my clients from the psychotherapy community. So it's just about helping people get unstuck and helping people also, people tend to take in other people's energy and the situation and all of that. So a lot of people get mixed up with what's my energy and what's yours. So people, for all kinds of, I'm kind of that person people go to when other things haven't worked. So
What do you mean unstuck?
unstuck. Sometimes, like, well,
Unstuck is the opposite of stuck. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, people, a lot of times, if your energy is stuck, uh, physically, that could be, you just can't get rid of a condition sometimes. Sometimes that's stuck energy, not always, but sometimes it's energy related. Or it could be like an emotion or a feeling. You just can't stop thinking about it. And it's just like it's almost like a mind virus. And so it's about helping people release that out of their mind space and get more into their body space, because their body holds a lot of truths, and just getting more into that space and feeling better.
How do they do that?
How do they do that? Like with me, or
Like, let's say I'm Mary Jane Jim Bob, and
uh-huh.
I don't know, I'm in a terrible relationship. I've got migraine headaches, and I drink too much. None of those are true for me, by the
Standard.
way. And so, nothing else has worked. So somebody says, call Nancy Regan. So I call Nancy Regan and I go, "Hi, well, there's really not that much wrong, but..."
But there is. No, you wouldn't be calling me.
So what would you do? How would
What
you?
I do with them, what I would do is, well, I would have them, come in. And first of all, I always talk with people so that I can have a good understanding of how I can help them. Okay. And from there, and usually issues are from way back, usually in our childhood and whatnot. We develop false beliefs and fears and all of that. So first I kind of have to know what we're working with. And then what I do is, and I make sure that everybody, knows what I'm going to do, and that it's, very gentle and that they're comfortable. I mean, to receive energy work, you really have to be feel safe and open to it. If you're not open to it, and that's okay, but probably it's not going to work very well on you. But then we just, I have them lay down on the table, and it's just a very, I work with people primarily under their sacrum and at their head. I'm a trained visionary cranial sacral therapist, so that's kind of my specialty. And
Tell us what that
honest
a trained craniosacral.
sacral therapist.
Tell us what
Well,
that
I'm a licensed massage therapist, so that was just an area of energy therapy that I specialized in. So, um, visionary cranial sacral is very intuitive in nature. So, no, this sounds strange, but the body tells me a person's story, just their energy and whatnot. So, a lot of times I might feel traumas from their past, or I'm sometimes some of their loved ones come in and have a little message for them. I mean, I never really know what's going to happen, but the main idea though is to connect with them energetically, and then just give them an energetic nudge with my energy and get their energy moving. It's really they're healing themselves. I'm just a conduit.
So what I'm hearing you saying, this is a form of being, I use the word intuition, psychic, ESP, all interchangeably. So kind of it's like your psychic work, your mediumship work, your healing work, all rolled into one.
It's all rolled into one. Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I started out as a massage therapist, but as I did the work, I just started picking up stuff on people, information, and they were like, "How did you know that?" And it was just kind of like, "Well, your body was telling me that." So that's
So,
how I started studying more about energy and intuition.
so when you get this information coming from them, okay,
Hmm.
is it visual? Is it more of a feeling? Is it auditory? Is it all of the above? How does that work for you?
How does that work for me? For me personally, I'm a clairsentient, which is I feel things, and I'm definitely a claircognizant. So there's just things like I know things that I shouldn't know. It's strange,
And
but
so you
yeah,
won't tell.
that's right. Somebody really good taught me how to do this stuff.
Who was that?
Mr. Door, Mr. Door, Mr. Mel Door. But that's, yeah, but I'm primarily, I would say I'm a feeler, a clairsentient, which sometimes that can be hard being really empathetic, sensitive person. I got to divide and not pick up their stuff.
Claircognizance is we know, we don't know how we know what we know, we just know.
Yeah,
Clairsentience is more like a feeling.
a
So
feeling.
so you're taking on all this energy from everybody else, including
I
my,
am.
how do you ground it?
It's a rough life.
Yeah. The most common question I get from people that are empathic is say, how do I step away from it? How do I ground it? And I'm posing that question to you.
Right. Well, for me personally, I have kind of some rituals I do before I work on anybody. Like I always ask for help, from God, and, I'm always make sure, for me, the main protection is just being aware. Okay. I just have to really tune in. It's very, very quiet, gentle work, but it's deep. And I just have to, I'm hardcore meditator. That's something I do every single day, probably several times a day. So what that means is have to really know how to turn my mind off so that I can really be present and hold a loving and kind space for this person who needs, my support in helping them release that which isn't serving them. So,
How long does the session last?
I am, I mean, I say an hour, but I usually have people with me for at least 75 minutes or so because I like to really talk with them and know how I can help them, you know.
I like when you said the body tells the story.
It does.
And what way is it telling you the story? is it because you're hooking into it intuitively, but is it also like reading their body language? Is that involved in it?
Definitely, yeah, that's part of it. Like, to be a good body worker in general, you should be a very good student of observing the body and seeing how people are moving, breathing, reacting. Okay, so that's part of it. So that's not really intuitive. That's just being,
Right.
that's part of being sensitive and being very clear and focused. But as far as the intuition, I mean, yeah, like, I can put my hand on someone's heart and I can absolutely feel if they're having a really rough time in their personal life. I mean, it's just like, where it's like a vibration that I feel. And then I feel like the sadness or the joy, whatever's going on, it just kind of comes through me.
Oh,
It's
wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, this is going to sound like a loaded question. It is actually, but
Yes.
um, so I I've been doing this metaphysical work for years. I mean, years and years. I've been doing this
Oh,
for more years than some people have, or have years in age. In fact,
right.
um, but what do you do when you get somebody as a client that you really can't stand and they're dancing on your last half raw nerve? Do you just bitch smack them into next week, or what do you do?
Oh my gosh.
And I know it's happened because
Mel, all my clients know I love them.
okay,
um,
okay,
no, I'm kidding.
all
Um,
99%, right?
wow, that is a big, I mean, do it. I will say that going to an energy healing practitioner person, you really do have to trust them, because I will tell you, like, your energy is a precious part of you, and you don't want anyone with not so great intentions working on you. So, so yes, most of my clients really trust me, but because most of my clients are referred to me. Um, so what do I do? Okay. So if I get somebody who's really like, I'm like, I have to like turn it around and ask myself, what is it about this person that is, triggering me or bothering me? Because probably it's something that I do, or, have tried to stop doing, or something like that. So I kind of just shifted around and like try to see, I have to be neutral and, you know, yeah, like, of course I'm going to be working with people with complex issues and whatnot. So it can be hard, but no, I mean, I'm there to be of support. So, uh, you know,
So you
I
don't.
don't really factor that in too much. And you know what? If I don't like them and they don't like me, they're probably not going to be coming back. But I'm very blessed. It doesn't happen too often. So,
Uh, how does one train to become an energy healing
yeah.
practitioner? Everybody's trained differently, but
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I mean, I will say it's not something that you go for a weekend course and and learn. Just my opinion, okay? It's a start, but being somebody who really does a lot of effective energy work is probably somebody, one, who's done it for many years. Been doing it for about 15 years, and like full time. Like, this is something I do almost every day. But the type of training I took was a lot of different varieties. So I'm that person that takes a lot of different things and then kind of makes it my own. So yeah, I mean, sometimes people will say, are you a Reiki practitioner? And I'm like, well, I've taken Reiki in the past, but I wouldn't say I'm a Reiki practitioner. Um, I primarily studied visionary cranial sacral classes. I took a lot of those, But I also studied when I was a massage therapist, many energetic types of body work, like, lomi lomi. Good
Oh, my favorite.
stuff, right?
Lomi
And
Lomi is what I
Essalon type of
massage for those
massage.
people who don't know what it means. It's
Oh, lomi lomi and Essalon massage is just like, it's like very flowy, like the ocean, and it's very dreamy. It's not like a clinical. I don't do that kind of work. But yeah, it's very flowy. You can't be shy because usually have everything off. But it's a very beautiful, beautiful session. Yeah, it's probably my favorite type to receive, and really a lot of body movement. I've also studied a lot of somatic type of movement too. I'm a student of soul motion, and again, that's a lot about being like getting out of your mind space, whatever it takes to get out of your mind space. So that type of work, meditation type of work, and I studied a lot with you, Mel. So because the intuition piece is really a big part of it, and just knowing how to trust what you feel and not getting up, here with your ego.
this thing for me to get my students to do is just give the message that first comes through.
Just give the message.
Just
That's
give
what
the
Melody
message.
says. Just give the message.
Just give the freaking
He
message.
does.
Oh, well, hey, what can I say? What shifts and changes can one expect? I know sometimes when I have energy work, I get really emotional because a lot of things
Mhm.
are coming up. But what kind of
Yeah.
changes? And does a person have to really want to change in order for this to work?
It's definitely going to help if you want to change. I mean, like nobody can change you. You have to be the one that really wants the change. So I think sometimes people want the change, but they get really stuck in the how, or they get stuck in the fear of this can't happen. So part of my work with them is helping them and supporting them to believe that, yes, you can make changes and shifts. And it's a lot of what you allow will continue type of thinking. And I'm a true believer in change your thoughts, change your life. So again, it's a lot working with our minds, but not letting our minds run away with fears and like just running the whole show, because really your heart, even your gut, hold a lot of information and guidance for you.
But sometimes in my practice, I found people, when they come to me for my intuitive advice, they want me to fix their life, and they don't want to do any work.
Right.
Walk in, one-stop shopping, fix it, you're on your way, boom. Um, and sometimes they want to hear what they want to hear,
Right.
you know, and sometimes they kill the messenger. So what do you say to those people who walk in and want the quick fix and their mind
Mm-hmm.
out there, and then they come back and go, well, it didn't work. I mean, how do you do? I mean, and I'm sure that's happened. It's like, how do you?
Well, I'm lucky because, again, a lot of my clients come from psychotherapists and psychologists. So people doing that type of work kind of know, like, you don't go for one session and everything gets fixed. So they kind of have that mindset anyway. But yeah, I mean, every once in a while I get a new client, and they're just like, get this out of me or whatever. And I just explain to them that this type of work is journey work, and any of your, you know, uh, anxieties or things that keep you up at night or are creating a lot of dysfunction in your life did not happen overnight. These are patterns that were set in your, you know, it could be your upbringing or situations or whatever that happened probably many years ago. And so what has to happen is we have to help you shift those patterns and your beliefs in order for you to change your behavior. But
What
nothing's going to change unless you change.
unless you change it? What does a
Yeah.
person look for? What should they look for when they're looking for an energy practitioner? what are some of the guidelines? Stay away
I
from neon signs in the windows, obviously.
yeah, probably. I
Really
mean,
feeling here. No, don't go.
for me personally, you probably want to go to somebody that's been very highly, that's very highly referred. Okay, like your doctor. Like I have integrative medicine doctors that refer people to me, or your psych professional. Just I really think it's important that you trust the person who is telling you to go to the energy healer person, or if you have a like good friend or family member who's had good process with this person or good results, I think that's good. I personally would never just go to anyone on a whim. I really wouldn't, not for this type of work. I mean, granted, I'm a highly sensitive person, so if I get a not so great energy session, I'm gonna, feel a little
I
for a
think that
while. So
when I say intimate, I don't mean in a sexual sense. That's not what.
no,
No, that's not my point. I think it's very metaphysically intimate because the
it is.
connecting with with their entire being on almost like a soul level
It
and
is, yeah, soul type of work. Yes.
self. And I think a lot of people don't get it, but many do. Uh, I know when the times you've worked on me, typically I fall asleep, but if somebody's working on me, I
That's
fall
all
asleep.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
no, that I have the faith in them. But then after the sessions, that the universe would put things in my face that I really, really needed to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you and I having these discussions during COVID where we were like, wow, and really scary about the business and what we're going to.
Yeah.
But I think, sometimes in those conversations, we look at ourselves and it almost motivates us uh,
Yeah, for sure.
forward. I mean, it caused me to, pull my pants down, look at the ring around my butt from sitting on the pity pot and get
That's
busy
right.
with something.
Hey, well, there's no change without discomfort, but you gotta look at it. You've got to look at it, and that's why someone that you're going to work with, like on like a soul energetic level, you want to trust that these are people that aren't going to be judgmental or try and push their beliefs on you or whatever, because that's not what we're here to do. I'm here to help you really know who you are. A lot of people don't know who they are. They're so influenced by people, situations, culture, and it's distressing when they don't really know who they are or what they want.
I
So
want to
then
spot a
you're
little.
here.
We'll get off the subject a little bit, but
Mhm.
speaking of culture, uh,
Yes.
what intuitively are you predicting about ours?
Oh, good times. No.
Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a
Yeah.
wild ride.
Yeah, I'm a very positive person. I'm looking at all of this as this is a big old correction we're in, and it will get stabilized eventually. I do feel we have some muckety muck to go through yet. I think the election's going to be messy. I do.
Well,
I wish I didn't, but I feel that pretty strongly.
I mean, certain politicians said that they were going to drain the swamp. They added a cesspool. So
It's not
I think what
kind of
happened is
disappointing.
necessary because I think it was a wake up call to all of us not to get not to get too complacent.
Mm-hmm.
I think to take our power back,
Absolutely. Yeah.
chakra, and speak up, and to remember
Yeah.
our warrior spirit. Warrior spirit, not about looting and burning, but warrior spirit about to band together in peace, love, harmony, inclusiveness.
Right.
Um, and so I see big changes on the horizon, but I do feel you're right about chaos surrounding.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little chaotic.
um,
I'll probably be stocking up on TP and Clorox before the election. So
um, real quick before we go, this whole COVID thing has gotten a lot of people with COVID fatigue and depressed, and
Yeah.
they're saying it's coming back in the fall. It never went away. Uh,
Right.
Spike
Right.
again. But so for people that are shut in who really can't come to you because it's
Mm-hmm.
almost has to be one-to-one, do you
Yeah.
do things like on FaceTime? Do you do things like on social media like we're doing right now virtually? Um, so if someone is afraid to leave their home because of contracting COVID, they can still work with you.
Absolutely. We can have a conversation, and I can, I'm an energy reader, okay? Like that's what I do. Like I read the energy of you, the situation, whatever. So, yeah, I do that now with people. We just have a conversation, and sometimes what I feel on them is they're surprised, and they're like, oh, because I'm reading like what their like soul space and body is telling me, and then it clicks, and they're like, oh, it's so it's a different type of work, because it's very intuitive based. Like I said, I work with a lot of people where I don't know what their story is, but it doesn't take too long to really kind of figure it out, just because I can feel into them. So again, that's why you have to like trust your energy worker, because they
Right.
can feel it.
People who are just kind of feeling depressed and down because
Yeah,
of COVID.
understandably.
Well, it's
Yeah.
understandably, but is there a generalized kind of piece of advice you can give them to help fight the COVID depression and the COVID?
Yeah. I think a really good practice is to every day, like, think of something that's going right, like have a gratitude practice. Okay. Be thankful for the small things. All right. Know that you're not alone. Um, I know, and again, I'm a really huge fan of meditation. I think that's one of the most powerful self-care practices that anybody and everybody can do. It's free, pretty much. I know a lot of people are like, I can't do that because my mind is monkey mind, but it's a practice. So I mean, literally, when I started, I just did like 2-3 minutes a day. That's it. Like, because I didn't like sitting still. Even though some people think I'm the most chill woman ever, but I'm not. Like inside, I'm like over analyzing. I never over analyze things, Mel, right? Never.
Oh, never. You know,
Never. Never.
analysis paralysis. No way.
But
I got to
yeah,
cut it short there, Nancy. We got to do this again.
I would
Uh,
love to.
well, can I? I'm going to let you give them your cell phone number or your phone number. So if you
Yeah.
want to book an appointment with Nancy, you may contact her at. Go ahead, Nancy.
My number is 630-890-3613. I'm a better texter.
So
Because
call or text or email at.
Nancy at it's chibabyinc.com. I am Chi Baby. So that's CHI baby, BABYINC.com. And I also have, if you Google Chi Baby, you will find me and my website, and you can read more about what I do.
And what I'll do before we post the video, I will put the information below. And I can promise everyone this, that Nancy and I will be doing more videos in the future. We'll talk about things like meditation and different ways to do it, different ways to
And
intuit,
how to cope.
and
How to cope and intuit. Yeah.
cope without
How to
value.
take care of yourself.
Double vodka and Tom.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Nancy,
Yes.
Nancy and I are very good friends. She's like a sister. I love you very much.
Mwah.
Um,
Love you, Mel. Thank you for having me.
Stay well and healthy.
You too, my friend.
All right.
Take care.